another inspiring episode of Monetize Your Mind on Amogate Radio Communications, ARC. I'm your host, Adiola Gbadebo, and we are now on episode 4 of our Q3 series, Monetize Your Mind, turning your ideas into industry. In our last session, we discussed how to validate your ideas across markets and cultures, and ensure that they have the right fit before investing deeply. Today we are taking it to our next level, scaling your innovation beyond your seat, beyond your borders, and onto the global marketplace. Our topic is converting local brilliance into global industry. This is about transforming your unique local insights into a suit that the world wants, and the one that the world is willing to pay for. That is, you're transforming that unique idea into a global something that is globally needed, something that now becomes a global demand, globally, and act locally. Start from somewhere. So you have to act locally. So why does this matter? So every global brand you see, whether it's in far entertainment, started in one place with one idea and rooted in local knowledge. They are rooted in local knowledge, but they grow by understanding what is and also be adapted to serve the world. As how they grew, they all grew knowing that local idea is valuable, can be adapted in such a way to serve the global community. If you understand your local culture, your market gaps, and community needs, you already have a competitive advantage. The challenge now is to package that brilliance so as to make it appealing to the global audience, just to make it appealing to the local audience. So how to convert your local brilliance into global industry? How do you do that? How do you convert your local brilliance into the global industry? Number one, what makes your unique local insight unique? You know here that what challenges do we face that others may also face, processes that can be adapted elsewhere, things we're doing right that people in other places can copy. For example, fintech reference. I worked in the financial inclusion space and worked with some fintechs in deploying point of sales terminals and some apps and even MPOSs to different agency banking officials. So in the agency banking, that reference is the M-Pesa of Kenya. Step 2 is to translate local value into universal appeal. To translate local value into universal appeal. And how do you do that? Not every detail of your product or service will translate globally. Not all of them will translate globally. Not all of them. But the core value proposition more. That your value proposition, the core of it, must be translated globally, must be something that can be adapted globally. So not every product, not every service that you are having there, but the idea itself must be something that is has global usefulness. So you need to remove cultural barriers without losing authenticity. Yes, you can remove cultural barriers by, so there are some, for example, you have adverts that in pidgin language. Yes, it will work for the Nigerian community, maybe for the African community, it will not necessarily work outside the shores of Africa. So you may want to remove that and replace with a different advert, the same product. Now, colors of some of those things, maybe you may have adopted it in national colors. You may have been doing it in that way, but you need to now look for colors that will be relevant and global. That's what we mean by removing those cultural barriers, religious barriers, and all that. So, for example, if you're a Christian and you have maybe on the branding of the product, you have the sign of the cross there. You want to sell not only to Christians, you want to be able to sell to every religion. So you might just make it plain, just remove that there. Or maybe you have symbols representing other religions, you can just take it out and it will still be acceptable elsewhere. Use simple, relatable language in branding. Simple, relatable language. But like I said about, you can use pidgin English in Nigeria, but when it comes to that, you have to use simple, relatable language that works across a lot of regions. You may even have to convert it to some other languages, international languages, to capture the different markets. So solve problems that exist beyond your local community. A government that may have a problem that is a global challenge, but they are localized in different places. For example, if you talk about climate change, another climate change, you are looking at places that are being eroded, flash floods and all that and things like that, and you have a solution that you want to deploy for people to be able to survive in that circumstance. It's a global phenomenon, but it's happening in local areas. So the same kind of floods that we experienced a few weeks ago in Lagos, even in the US, they experienced floods. There were flash floods also in China and all that. So yes, it is not only your community has that challenge. So it must be something that the problem also exists beyond your community. If your problem is only peculiar to your community and it's not happening elsewhere, you will only be able to sell within that area. However, you can use that same structure to sell other products that will solve solutions in other communities. Step 3 is to brand for a global audience. Brand for a global audience. Your brand must communicate clearly across cultures. Use visuals, colors, and language that resonate globally. You have to do that so that it can be acceptable. Tell a story that connects emotionally and practically. Tell a story. There are adverts that sometimes they don't say anything. Nobody is talking there. They're just sounds in the background, and the pictures are rolling, but everyone understood what the advert was talking about. So that's one of the things that you need to connect emotionally and practically. I told you that your product, actually I said about maybe 2 weeks ago, and I think I repeated last week also, that your product must have an emotional appeal. It must make people feel somehow. People must be able to connect with it. People make buying decisions based on their emotions. It is how that product made them feel. If someone wore a perfume and when they get to while going out, a lot of people made comments and gave some commendable speech or talks about that. Oh, you really smell nice and this. So as people make those comments, the person wearing the perfume feels nice. It feels good. You're wearing a particular shoe, and everyone says, "Wow, what a nice design." You're wearing a particular dress. So as people begin to tell you that you're wearing a particular hairdo or wig or human hair, and someone looks at it and says, "Wow," then that feeling that those words make you feel must be able to connect emotionally as both authentic and professional. Don't be biased. Don't be biased. You have to position yourself as both being authentic. Invest in brands they trust. They invest in brands that they trust. They invest in brands that they trust. And trust comes from clear, consistent, and credible branding. Trust comes from clear, consistent, and credible branding. Step number 4. You need to collaborate with diasporas and cross-border partners. You need to get, people across your borders, people in the diaspora, cross-border partners, people that are not within your country or your locality alone. You need to connect with them. So you have, the Nigerian, the Ghanaian, the Kenyan, and other African diasporas, and access to global markets. Have access to global markets. To partner with diaspora entrepreneurs to break into foreign markets. Get partners. You can create a franchise that people can buy over there, and then they start, give them the standards, buy the franchise, and you are doing the supply, and they continue to help you to expand your market. Leverage cultural familiarity for quicker adoption. So, for example, you have if you have a Nigerian, someone from Benin Republic, a Cameroonian, a Togolese, let me even say Ghanaians, because our cultures are not too far away from one another. You will be able to sell across those cultures because they are familiar. So leverage cultural familiarity for quicker adoption. Explore international joint ventures, export channels, and licensing deals. It's also good that you may want to connect with your local chamber of commerce and industry. Then you can also collaborate with, also join other cross international commerce chambers of commerce of industry. Like you may have a chamber of industry of Nigeria, maybe Nigeria China, maybe Nigeria America, Nigeria Germany. You have things like that. So when you collaborate with them, it exposes you. It gives you a global stage that you can speak with. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to go on a commercial break now. After the break, we will continue.
Harmogate, founded in 2008 out of a desire to build transgenerational structures for organizations, institutions, and nations. We have worked with large businesses, international development organizations, and public sector ministries and agencies. Harmogate, our uniqueness is that we do not just work for you, we work with you. For example, we do not leave you to the task after sourcing talent that will help the new hire settle into robust leadership development programs. We are technical experts in in advising and supporting institutions on strategy and leadership, artificial intelligence, strategic human resource management, public sector reform, finance, audit and tax, FAT, and strategic communications. We do all this and more out of a desire to transformations through institutions and organizations. For further inquiries, email contact@thearmorgate.org or call +234 810 999 6866 +234 807 957 4151 and +161 0504 6026 www.thearmorgate.org. Armorgate, building to endure and transforming nations through institutions and organizations.
Welcome back. We are still on Armorgate Radio Communications, and we're on monetize your mind. Monetize your mind, turning your ideas into industries. And like we said, today's topic is converting local brilliance into global industry. I've talked about 4 steps earlier that you can take when I said you need to identify what makes your local insight unique. You need to identify what makes your local insight unique. You need to translate local value into universal appeal. You also need branding for a global audience. You have to brand for a global audience. The last one I was talking about before I went on the break was that you need to collaborate with diasporas and cross-border partners. Now, step 5 is that you need to attract global investors. You need to attract global investors. Investors want ideas that can scale to appeal to them. It has to be scalable. They're looking at the scalability and sustainability of your idea before they invest. Show proof of concept and local success stories. Show proof of concept. Share your in your pitch, include your success stories, include areas how acceptable that idea has been and what it has been and the current thing that is been bringing in. Present your growth plan with clear numbers. That's if you need an expert to help you to put those numbers together, please get one. You don't have to do everything on your own. There are people who know how to prepare proposals, grant proposals, or to for investors and others. So you sit with them, they'll coach you, they'll tell you what to do, or they'll do it and help you. You supply them with the information and they can put it together and send it to you, of course, for a fee. Some of us won't charge you too much. Then you need to highlight your product addresses global trends and what how your product addresses global trends and demand. Like I was saying the other time. So, for example, when the weather is really terrible and it's not going well, so internet network is disturbed. It's not only Nigeria, it's across the whole world, and there seem to be connectivity issues. Even radio frequencies are affected by they're affected by thunderstorm and all that and stuff like that. So suppose you are able to develop a solution that that will still ensure that your communication is still being transmitted irrespective of how terrible that weather is. So what you are doing is that solution that you are creating is going to be addressing a global trend and demand. I'm sure that's a solution that can sell. Maybe it's an idea for someone to pick and look into. So I want to also explain to you why this approach that I've explained to you, why it works. One, it uses your local advantage as a differentiator. Uses your local advantage. If you already have, like I said earlier, that if you already have a solution that is solving a problem within your locality, you already have leverage. So I want to believe that it gives that your local advantage, that leverage now is a differentiator. This process also taps into the diaspora network. Is it as a bridge to global markets? Because you have Nigerians in the diaspora, you have Ghanaians in the diaspora, and others. So if you are able to solve their problems locally, you can, and you are able to reach out to those of them in the diaspora. They are willing, and they can show you can do something that is appealing to them, and they look at it as good business. They are the ones that can really open the global market for you. It's not about you traveling to the US and marketing your ideas and all that. Sometimes what it needs, it's someone in the US, someone in the UK, someone in Switzerland, someone in Canada, someone in Australia, sees what you're putting on the internet, they see your content, they see the content around it, and they're asking, look, we think there's a market for you here. Based on these peculiarities, this is also present here. We see that this your particular product or this particular service will help people to overcome these challenges. And boom, that's it. They open that door for you. It also ensures scalability by removing unnecessary barriers early. It removes, so as you are acting locally, you are thinking globally. As you started that idea, you started putting it out, you started offering the services, you're already producing the products, but immediately you knew that you are not producing, or the service is not meant for the local market alone. You were thinking, you had a global mindset. You thought about the whole world when you were making this product. So some of those barriers, it will help you to remove them early, because you know you have to scale, and in scaling you have to remove a lot of barriers. You have to think internationally, and you have to remove cultural barriers that will not allow it to become something that is acceptable internationally. It also positions you as an innovative yet authentic person. Yes, it's a powerful combination. That you are not only innovative, you are also authentic. So that's one of the things that this approach gives to you. So I want to say to every young creative entrepreneur and innovator listening, your culture is not a limitation, it's an asset. It's an asset. Don't ever think that it's your culture that is limiting you. The music, the fashion, the technology, the solutions that have emerged from our communities, our different communities, are proof that the world is paying attention. It's paying attention. And now is the time to take your local knowledge seriously, to refine your brand for global recognition, to collaborate beyond borders, package your ideas for export. While you are collaborating beyond borders, you are talking to people in the diaspora. Stop asking them to send you money. Pitch your idea to them, sell your products to them, let them see it, and let them be able to collaborate with you and give you that market, open that market space for you there. You should also, it's time also for you to package your ideas for export. Export is go beyond borders. You are taking it abroad. You're taking it outside the shores of your country, and present yourself as a global player, not just as a local champion. You must take those bold steps, because good thinking and deep design, when paired with global vision, can transform your idea into an industry that changes lives far beyond your neighborhood. Now, before we close today's episode, I want to speak directly to anyone listening who feels stuck. You've been working hard, maybe even making a name for yourself locally, but deep down, you know your idea, your business, that your product has more potential than the boundaries of this city or your country. You dream of a global stage, but you don't know how to get there. I'll give you a 10 blueprints to help you break that ceiling. One, you need to audit your current offer. Look at what you're selling, identify the product or service that has the most universal appeal, and in doing that you need to be honest. Be honest. Some things will need redesigning before it can enter the global market. Identify the universal need you are solving. You are solving a universal need. The global market rewards solutions to problems that exist everywhere. Ask yourself, is my solution relevant in New York, in Nairobi, in New Delhi, or New Zealand? Research global trends. Don't assume. Use tools like Google Trends, Statista, and all those other research tools in this world to see if your niche is growing internationally. Adapt for cross-cultural fit. Keep your authenticity, but tweak your design. Tweak your packaging or messaging to resonate in other cultures. Remember, what works at home might not translate abroad. Build a global ready brand. Your brand must look and feel international. Don't have a terribly packaged quality. No, you must package your quality very well. Let me tell you, there are some well-packaged rubbish. They will still sell more than a terribly packaged quality. But make sure that your product is a well-packaged quality. Leverage your diaspora first. Your brothers and sisters are abroad. They are your launch pad. Connect with them. Let them test, promote, and open doors for you. Collaborate internationally. Don't try to do it alone. Partner. Get distributors, influencers, and entrepreneurs in your target countries. Use digital platforms for reach. Sell on Amazon, ST, Alibaba, or create an export-ready online store. If your service is digital, if your service is digital, platforms like Upwork or they can bring your global clients instantly. Understand global compliance. Research the import rules, product certifications, tax laws, and markets you are targeting. Compliance builds trust. When you look at the specification that is marketable, look at the acceptable standards, not just the standards in Nigeria, international standards. And if you have a country that you are targeted already, look at the standard in that country. Seek funding for expansion. Apply for grants, export promotion programs, and global focused investors can accelerate your leap. Young people hear me. The world is not short of opportunities. It's only short of those old enough to package their brilliance for the global stage. Don't bury your gift. Don't let your local success be your final chapter. Oftentimes, our current success is the obstacle for our next success. Be careful. Improve the quality of your thoughts. Sharpen your skills and apply deep design thinking. Remember that good thinking always produces great products and services. We'd love to hear from you. Like to take feedback from you. Our email is contact@theamogate.org, and you can send us your thoughts, your feedback, your questions on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is +234 810 999 6666. I'll take that again. Our WhatsApp line is +234 810 999 6666. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are all on Amogate. You need to look for us, search Amogate Radio Communications on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube page. That YouTube is like an encyclopedia. There's a lot of content you want to listen to over there, so there are a lot of past ones so you can always go to our channel and then subscribe and then put on your notifications so that when another recording or another broadcast goes there, you will be notified. So this program is every Thursday at 5 p.m. West African time and 12 noon Eastern time, only on Amogate Radio Communications. On a final note, when you take your roots with you, you can grow anywhere. When you take your roots with you, you can grow anywhere. Until next time, keep thinking big, building strong, and reaching wide. I'm Adeola Gbadebo. Stay inspired, stay impactful, stay untouchable. See you next episode. Thank you.